All right, I think we're live now. I haven't checked. I'm just going to shoot for the moon on this one. I assume that a combination of James and Pondo got you guys into the correct order. According to my notes, you are in the correct order, but we're going to see when we go into the face level. Did we do this right? Yes, everyone is in the correct space. So I was not here when that happened. Did you guys organize it that way, or did it just randomly happen?
No, that was more us than class. That just happened.
Okay, well, I should have double checked before we went live. That would have been professional. It looked right to me, and I assumed that Pondo and or James was like, I remember the order. Let's do this.
I knew I was either second or first, but I figured I was just second.
It's James, Pondo, Cotton, Rad now. We got that science down. All right, so let me start my intro by saying this. I'm about to talk about some real deep, dark shit that I haven't in a while, so prepare for this one, friends. First, wow, Rad is already doing the Illuminati. Okay.
He's trying not to ruin your joke today. He's really trying hard.
There's no joke here. There's nothing to ruin. Well, there's plenty of room, but there's no joke to be involved in it. You know, lately there's been a lot of talk about content and the way that we present games. I know that on the most recent episode of Oath of Endosteel, which most of you have not seen, there was something there that I'm gonna have to address at the beginning of the next episode. People that have observed it thought, well, that was not my finest hour. So, you know, I've been thinking a lot about how I present scenes, how I present specifically villains lately is what I've been working on. Like, how do you tell that someone's evil? How far or can you go with that? You know, on the internet, it's basically assumed that sexual assault in a TTRPG is a no-no. And you know what? For the longest time, I've agreed with that. And now I'm going back and re-examining it. You know, I'm not telling you there's going to be a lot of plot lines about that in my immediate future. But why is that the one thing we don't touch ever? Is what I'm questioning now. Like, we are perfectly fine with lots and lots of murder and crime and some really violent, evil stuff, but why is that the one that we stick away from? I don't know. I don't know why that's what we've all, as a society, collectively agreed on.
That is an excellent question, though.
You know, last night I was playing Cyberpunk 2020, running it for the guys, and you know, I was playing a bunch of really corrupt cops, and then I said something in the middle, and I was like, wow, did I just take that too far? Like, what can I do to represent people that are bad, shitty, horrible people who say terrible things? Like, how far can I take that on stream? Like, where's my limit? Where's my audience's limit? I've never really thought about it before, so I'm not gonna tell you I spent all day, but I've been thinking about that specifically today for a couple of hours, and you know, like most of these things, I don't have an answer immediately. I don't know that one will come.
Can I throw out something really quick, just a simple thing towards this? I think that the big difference is to do with the fact that some crimes have a lot of silent victims, and sexual assault is a good example of that. Like, a lot of crimes have very vocal victims. Like, outright violence, generally speaking, most people, other than domestic violence, obviously, a lot of people will immediately raise that and such.
I have a counterpoint for you, though.
Yeah.
Most people who are the victim of murder have no voice because they have been murdered. Some of us here are survivors of someone trying to kill them, and I can tell you, I don't know what it's like to be sexually assaulted, but I do know what it's like to survive someone trying to kill you, and it is fucking awful. So that is shit haunts me for the rest of my life. Years. It's bad. And I don't know if we've agreed, like, yes, what you're saying is perfectly correct. There is a lot of silence there. There's also a lot of silence from people who've been murdered because they're dead, is what I have to add. I know it sounds like a really quippy thing to say, but the people who typically suffer from the crime of being murdered have no voice in this discussion. All right. Well, they've left. The final thing I have to say is about Raddosaurus. Rad is going to tell the dog story of what happened with the dogs last week. I'm going to tell you the story of Rad telling me to go watch Norseman. And then at the end of the first episode, a dude sticks his finger into his butt and then washes his finger in a slave's mouth. And the very next scene in the next episode is two people peeing in that slave's mouth. So that's as far as I got. The start of the second episode is my limit. I can't go any farther than people peeing. I got through Game of Thrones. I got through Jaime Lannister and the horse piss. I can't do it again. I'm not in the right frame of mind to survive that. So,
I can appreciate you respecting your own limits.
Listen, there was a lot of funny stuff. The home gong was... It
was great, wasn't it?
What was even better was like the poison druid in the forest. I'll owe you for the rest of my life. He goes, well, you paid me, so no. I was like, wow, that NPC sounds like someone I wrote into this show.
You'd have to ask Glimo, because he's watched it a lot more recently than I have.
Sure.
It's been, I guess, I watched it when it first came out, so I don't know how long it's been. But to my recollection, that is the only time that type of content appears in that show. Glimo is certainly can and will correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think you get much more of the Hamgong humor than you do that the bodily function humor. I think you're mostly past that, but again, don't quote me. We'll let Glimo chime in and be the subject matter expert at this point.
Subject matter expert. Great word.
This me.
What else can I say? I have a new show, Cyberpunk 2020 ++. Some people are saying things like, this is my new favorite show. That's it. That's all I have to say about it. My knee hasn't hurt in a while, and I realized that today when my knee hurt. I was like, my knee hurts so much. Ooh, it's been a while since that happened. You know, it's one of those things, right? Like it goes away so gradually, and then you're like, wow, my knee hasn't hurt in 6 months. You stupid bitch. I can't believe you're hurting right now. Go back to that other state, the one where it doesn't hurt. Rad, you have a dog story to tell that you're eager to tell. Let's tell this dog story and your other stories, all the stories.
It's not a very good story. It's just, I apologize to the cast and I'll apologize to the viewership as well. Last week was kind of an anomaly. We had a dog that we were watching that, by all accounts, is a very sweet dog. However, and he's a large dog, probably between, I don't know, I would say he's between 85 and 100 pounds, this dog. Probably more on the 100-pound side of things. Very sweet dog, not necessarily aggressive or anything like that per se, but much like children, dogs can be ruined by their parents, and this dog had clearly been ruined by his parents. We had watched this dog before, months and months and months ago, and had a mostly good experience with him. But these people booked us to dog sit their animal, and then at the last minute it was like, oh yeah, well, he has all these new behaviors as well. Like you need to, we cook him chicken and shred it and mix it in with his food along with wet food, and he'll only eat it if it's warm. He won't eat if it's cold. And basically there was a laundry list of things. It came down to this dog does whatever the fuck it wants, whenever the fuck it wants. And its owners give him whatever he wants when he wants. So like this is an unfixed male dog, so he's walking around our house marking stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, he does that, and we're like, what? But he can't just do that. Well, the last time he was here, he slept in a kennel. This time they're like, yeah, he doesn't really like his kennel anymore. We just kind of let him sleep in our room, and we're like, well, he pees, and we have new carpets, so that's the kennel is kind of like a thing. Will he sleep in the bathroom? And they're like, yeah, if he feels like going to the bathroom, he'll just go in there and lay down. We're like, okay, whatever.
I understand the struggle with a large dog that kind of
doesn't want to do anything. And we'll be like,
except the part of Lascia is we don't really spoil him. He's just a dumbass and an asshole.
Sure, I've had a lot.
I didn't ruin that
too.
dog. He's just always been. I got him as an asshole.
This dog, we couldn't get to go outside. Like we tried to get him to go outside. He wouldn't go outside. Hey, we can't get your dog to go outside. She's like, oh yeah, there's a laser pointer in his bag, trying to get him to like chase the laser outside. And I'm like, what is even happening here?
What is your cat?
I want to add that's what a moray is like. So a moray was like this ultra spoiled rich cat.
Imagine if she was 100 pounds.
Okay, no, but imagine this. All right, husband and wife get a moray to save their marriage. Okay, several weeks later they decide this isn't going to work. We're getting divorced. So they give a moray back to the rescue place that they got her from. So now this is the only thing a moray knows is people who will give her literally anything. All right.
Yep.
My mom picks up a moray. And now my mom is just like, I haven't had a cat in so many years. Time to spoil the fuck out of this tiny monster. All right. Now my mom gives me a moray. So now I got a cat that likes to crawl inside my mouth and investigate the uvula that hangs down in the back. And she likes climbing into working ovens when the oven door is open at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Just go in there and maybe sneak a little tomato sauce from that top rack. Get her paws up there, pull herself up, get a little licks in on that boiling hot tomato juice.
Yeah. So this is that dog, right? And again, he's very friendly, but he would just never do anything that he didn't want to do. And it got to a point where if you tried to get him to do something he didn't want, he would get a little growly and snappy and mouthy with you. And that's not a very comforting behavior for a large male dog to have. So long story short, we had to call, I mean, maybe not as short as you want it to be, but long story shorter is we had to call his owner and get them to come pick him up. So he actually didn't even stay the night. They showed up around, 11 o'clock or midnight or something like that to come get him, because our dog was also, it was kind of bad timing on our part too. Our dog has had a lot of health issues lately, and she was having like a flare up. And so she was super stressed out, and this big dog wouldn't leave her alone. Cause again, he ignores all signals other than just doing what he wants. So if he wanted to play, he would crawl all over our kids or our dogs or whatever. And when he played with our kids, he'd put his mouth all over them, and not in an aggressive way, but our kids weren't super thrilled about that. So we're like, all right, well, we can't keep our kids like locked in their rooms for the next 6 days because this dog is here 4 days or whatever it was. So dog had to go. That is the reason the episode got cut short. So I apologize, but we just had to, that's my dog story, I guess. That's what we had to do. We had to take care of this dog.
One of my favorite,
not a bad dog, but
bad arts is
bad owner.
Cotton's dog pushing her down the stairs.
I know.
It's terrible to say, but it is one of my favorite pieces of art from you. One of the first.
Yeah,
one of the ones that went on the refrigerator.
Early. So yeah, that's it.
He's
what other
such
stories?
a rude dog.
I don't really have any other stories, I don't think. I've had 2 long days at work. I worked like 10 and a half hours yesterday, and I worked about 10 hours again today, and long commutes and stuff. So my battery's kind of low. So I was saying just before the show, I got a message from my boss saying you don't have to be at work until like 9 tomorrow. So that's pretty cool. So I get to sleep in tonight, or tomorrow, I guess, rather. But other than that, business as usual. Oh, you can't see it. I don't know. Maybe they could see it on Zoom, but I got finally got a boom from a microphone.
They can't see it, but we know it's here.
It won't show on Twitch, but you'll just have to believe me that it's real.
It's real.
So I'm excited about that. My desk is like cleaner than it's ever been. I've taken one of my monitors and flipped it vertically aligned, which I wasn't sure if I would like at first, but I quite like it. It works really well for me. I have a very small desk, so having one monitor be vertical makes it feel a lot cleaner and more spacious. So
the opposite. I talked Limo into putting more stuff on his desk this week. I have
like
that dark power.
I have my 2 little decorations, and I have, just like the bare minimum up here. So I got a new wireless controller, so I have less wires. Maybe someday I'll get a wireless headset, but we're not there yet. One can dream, though.
My desk is full of toys my kids have bought me to fix.
That's my workbench out in the garage, and you know what happens is they sit out there forever until I go out there and just throw them away.
Wow, you're a monster.
That's what happens here too.
You're the bad guy of every Toy Story movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I am the
Emma
villain.
pop here. So got a PJ Masks missing a leg.
Oh, I have like 2 PJ
Octonaut
Masks
missing a
on my
head.
bench too. That's perfect.
When you said I have toys in my desk, I thought you were going to say toys in the desk need to paint.
No.
But okay, I said the toys.
It's just, it's dad stuff, Pondo. You
Dad
wouldn't get
stuff.
it yet.
You become the toy surgeon at some point in your life.
Yeah.
Yep. The thing is, though, like when I was a kid, you could fix toys.
Yeah, they would just snap back together. Now
modern toys are a lot less fixable. I have found. I became quite the little engineer when I was young and fixing my Transformers, or like when their joints wore out and they wouldn't hold like their positions. You could go in there and like unscrew them and take their limbs off and wrap like electrical tape around them and put them back on there. Or, cover them with like super glue on the ball joints and then sand them down so that they would fit tight in there again, so they wouldn't be all loosey goosey. But I don't know, toys just aren't really built like that anymore. They're cheap and plastic and they break and they're harder to fix. So I just throw them away. The end.
And that's how you get Toy Story 3.
That's how you get Toy Story 3. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I made a new overlay for Arthur this week. So
Not for this show. Don't listen. You
Not for
have to
this
be
show.
specific,
Sorry.
or people are going to expect a new overlay for this show.
I made 2 overlays for Cyberpunk, one of which I like and one of which I do not.
I recall there being more than 2. There's more like 4
there are
or
several
5.
iterations of the 2, but that's really only 2. So yeah, that's it. Really.
GrimdarkJames.
Hello.
Yeah, what do you got?
Not much. I'm on a week of vacation, which has not really been a vacation, but a lot of work. I watched on Netflix this week the Warrior Nun TV series.
How
I
is
don't know
that?
why. I'd read the odd comic back in the 90s, and I actually watched the whole series in only a few days, and I enjoyed it, but it also annoyed me. It's one of those like cliche things where the hero is reluctant at first and has to sort of find their equilibrium to actually do the heroic thing, and it just in a 10-episode show it takes 9 episodes for that to happen. And so every time it's like, oh, here's the inciting moment. No, once again she's decided to run away from this as well. And the other thing was every episode was a cliffhanger, which is okay until you get to the final episode of the series, which is also a cliffhanger. And it's like, well, they may make another series, they may not. We may never not find out how this gets resolved. So look, I enjoyed watching it, but it just little things that niggled at me otherwise. I mean, I didn't have many expectations going in having read the comic book, so. But
Interesting. I didn't know it was based on a comic.
Yeah, so it's based on Orion and Ariella from the early 90s, I would say. Back when there were a whole bunch of comics that sort of poked at religious themes, like that and Glory and Angela, that sort of stuff. But yeah, other than that, I've just been modeling this week, building a Tiger 2 tank, and that's been it. That and work.
This is completely unrelated, but tangential. Have you ever read Invincible, James? You're like the only person I know that reads comic books.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't know. That was Vertigo, was it?
Is it Robert Kirkman, same guy who does Walking Dead?
Okay, no, I haven't read it. No,
I think that's his name. Okay, I was just wondering. It's kind of a play on the Superman mythos. It's pretty good. I was just curious. I heard they were making it into a series, which is why it might be like an HBO series.
I will say, by the way, the Boys season 2 trailer's out. That looks fun.
I never saw the first season. That's one of those ones that are on my list to go back and watch at some point.
Yeah, not safe.
I'm kind of saving it for my next deployment, so I can watch it by myself. What do you say, Pondo?
I was trying to think Invincible. That's probably not wrong, but wasn't it that the movie that Bruce Willis is in where he's like...
Yes, this is completely unrelated, but yes, that is the same word of 2 different things. Yes, Invincible is about basically kind of like the son of Superman. He's the hallmark character, and it's kind of his discovery of he hits like adolescence and finally gets his powers and stuff. And then there's obviously like any good comic book, there's a giant twist on the Superman myth. It's very I don't know. It's very typical, and you could say even like predictable and boring for the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes, and then when the hook comes in, it turns into almost an entirely different book. It gets really good. If you have a chance to check it out, if you can get it on ebook or whatever, the Invincible series it's really good. I liked it every bit as I liked like the first, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 volumes of Walking Dead, the actual comic book, not the movie or the show. The comic book was excellent, and Invincible is also really excellent as well.
I have a recommendation along those lines, Rad, for you. Brandon Sanderson wrote a series called The Reckoners, which starts with Steelheart, which is about superheroes, and as they gain their powers, they become corruptibly insane and evil. And so they basically rule the entire planet now, dividing it between themselves. And the main character wants to join a shadowy terrorist organization who plots to kill each superhero by, one by one. And the first one that they're going to knock down is Superman, essentially. And they're like, wow, it's pretty hard to kill Superman. I don't know how we're going to do this, but let's do some terrorism.
That's cool.
It's very Injustice, Red Sunny Superman.
Yeah,
I would say.
Invincible has some of that. Not to be too spoilery, but it's basically like, what if Krypton didn't blow up, and instead it was just an entire planet of supermen, and they were galactic conquerors. Like, that's essentially the twist. That doesn't give away the nature of the twist, but that's kind of the premise anyway.
Did anybody here ever play Necessary Evil? Like Savage Worlds Necessary Evil? It was a Savage World sort of superhero plugin where the setting was basically a world where supervillains had actually killed all the superheroes, and then aliens attacked the world, and so you're playing a supervillain who has to sort of like, do the heroic thing to repel the aliens despite being a villain.
Is that based on a book? I swear I've read a comic book.
It's reminding me of Mastermind a little bit, in essence, but
yeah, a friend of mine ran it for us, but he swapped out their pre-created world for the DC universe. No, it was Marvel. Sorry, that's right, because Doctor Doom was the lead supervillain that got everyone together. So,
of course.
Why are there so many evil doctors?
It's about 50-50.
Well,
I blame the healthcare system.
Yeah, there's a lot more well-known evil doctors.
Big pharma. It's really
it's like Dr. Oz versus Dr. Fauci. Really, that is a fight I would want to see. Actually, speaking of Savage Worlds, Pondothemad. I haven't gotten to reading Savage Worlds yet, but it's on my list. I swear I'm going to do it sometime.
Okay.
You always suggest Savage Worlds, and my only experience with it has been terrible. I don't like it. When you were like, I'm going to run a play-by post, I was like, I'm interested. And then you were like, it's Savage Worlds. And I'm like, ooh. And then you're like, I'm running another play-by post. I was like, it's Savage Worlds. And I'm like, fuck, damn it.
I like it for its versatility.
Yes, but as we've established with Battlemechs, I prefer seamless perfection.
Yeah.
I prefer specialists over versatility.
I understand. Yeah, I do understand why you don't like it.
Listen, unless it's the Centurion, which is a Battlemech that specializes in general versatility. It also just looks good. It's a good looking mech.
It really is.
Yeah.
What do you got going on?
Nothing much. Just work. Trying to figure out what my schedule is, because my boss at some point was supposed to go in and get her gallbladder removed, but she's got to wait a month.
Ooh.
So that's delayed a month, and
that's some stuff you don't want to lose out on.
Yeah. I have been also working on some Savage World stuff myself. Yeah, I'm really intrigued why AP doesn't like Savage Worlds, but I guess it goes to the. I
just had a bad experience with it.
What was the bad experience?
Played Savage Worlds and I didn't like it.
Okay.
I also didn't like Deadlands. I felt like Deadlands hyper concentrates on the magic cowboy undead part of being dead, and then they're like, all right, well, here's all the mechanics for when you're alive, but also when you die you become a super sick evil wizard, and it's pretty cool. So you should probably just get shot in the head and die as soon as possible. I was like, this is the weirdest fucking intro sequence I have ever seen for a tabletop RPG. Die as soon as possible. Here's how you live instead of dying, though. Alright, are any of these the dervish? None of these look dervishy. James, I'm trying to find a dervish for you.
Where'd you put it? I've got it saved in my objects if you want to deputize me.
I'll deputize you.
That's a bushwhacker.
I
That
didn't think any of these
appears to
looked
be
dervishy.
an awesome. No, that's a Zeus.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got weird wing things on it.
Yeah. Raven. I want to say Stormcrow.
No, that's not a Stormcrow.
Yeah, there's no way. Stormcrows are...
No.
I don't know what this
That's
is.
a Hollander. Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Oh yeah, it's got the railgun cannon on its right. It's got the
Oh,
Gauss.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yep, that's a Hollander for sure.
I just imagine the Hollander would just its upper torso being the gun, like
got
nothing
all-
else.
I think I almost look like a shadow cat on the end. Can't be
So when
certain.
you go sec, Arthur, just it obviously hasn't got the. Do you want me to copy the script for that one, or you
Yep,
want to do it?
I got it.
Cool.
Oh, where were we? I was interrupting Pondo doing his intro.
That was it. I'm just tinkering with some of the rules.
Okay.
Theory crafting some other stuff that I can do. Because I've thought about repurposing the sort of setting I did for Streets of New Chicago. It's something a little bit different. But
Script isn't working.
what script?
Script that looks...
Add the name over the top.
Yeah, it's not showing up.
Oh.
Well, we're just gonna have to accept that we live in a time without that.
My immersion's totally broken without that giant name floating over my head.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have no control over it. I'd have to reload the table.
I'm
Cotton,
going to pretend I'm on Mechwarrior Online now.
what do you got going on, Cotton?
I talked to a pastor today,
Yes?
so we're gonna get married eventually.
I was under the impression that that was in the works. Yes.
But now it's more in the works because we have a pastor. We didn't before. And it is okay, I know I say a lot of things are fancy, but this church is like, it's super fancy.
What was I watching just recently where Cotton was talking about something? It was
on the tabletop this week. We
Was that
talked
what
about
it was?
pate.
He was just talking about how like a gas station sushi was
Yeah.
fancy. I don't remember what it was.
Because they have a sushi attendant there, which
It's
admittedly
not a
in
gas
Nebraska,
station,
Okay,
Susan.
it wasn't a gas station, but listen, I was dying
in-store sushi chef. Look,
when she
Brad,
when
you
she
live
went
in
to describe,
Houston, okay?
when she went to describe why it was fancy. The reason for why it was fancy is they give you candy, and I fucking lost it.
Oh, that was the actual sushi restaurant.
I was like, man, candy. That's all it takes to impress Cotton.
We
You
need
give
to
her a
take
piece of
Cotton
candy,
to the Indian buffet where you get as much of the flavored
just let her get her
lentil
little
on the way
claws
out.
in that like peppermint bowl at the.
fennel seed.
She's like, oh
Have
man,
to admit, I am not the hardest person in the world to impress, but it impressed Pondo.
I would
He's
also
harder
not,
to impress.
I would
than I am.
not say that West Virginia is the culinary center of the American continent.
Is it like a culinary center of fancy churches? Because it's like a swanky church.
Wait, are you guys getting married in West Virginia?
No,
Oh,
it's here.
yeah.
I
that
was just
didn't sound
meaning
right.
he might know fancier churches than I do.
I think the fanciest church I've ever seen was
No
in
idea.
Baltimore, but
The fanciest church I've ever seen was this one, but
Okay.
they're all also driven by the Catholic churches, and they're probably fancier.
well, the thing about Catholic churches is they have a certain style, a theme to uphold. Really,
Fancy.
I would say more Catholic-y than fancy.
Yeah, but the whole they showed us where we'd get married, and there's like this. The whole thing is made out of like stones, like big stones. And there's like a giant wooden cross just like hanging from the ceiling, and the ceiling is like super tall, and there's like big stained glass. It's so fancy.
This is where you're getting married?
Yeah.
Sounds real nice.
Yeah.
It does.
So when we picked our celebrant for our wedding, Cotton, he was very composed. I'd first thing we noticed he had great composure. So I said to my then-to-be wife, I want to make him laugh during his ceremony. So that was my objective, was to try and catch him offside and make him laugh, and I succeeded in that. So
Nice.
The pastor we talked to was really friendly. His name was Doug. I mean, have you ever met a mean Doug?
No.
Yep. Yes, I have. And I have to tell you, Pastor Doug sounds like a youth pastor to me.
He's an older guy. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He told us that a groom almost passed out at a wedding once.
Pastors do tend to turn out to be pretty cool because their job is talking to people and making them feel more comfortable.
He succeeded at that.
He's probably about in his 40s, I'd say.
He had gray hair. Actually, it was
Oh,
whitish.
wow, Cotton, that hurts. People are old when they have gray hair? Jesus.
No, I think he was a little older than 40. Because he looked about the age of my dad, maybe a little older. So I would be putting him in the 50s.
I can't judge people's ages. People are like, how old do you think I am? And I'm like, I don't know, 60? They're like, what? I'm 16. And I'm like, fuck if I know, man.
like you asked me if I was retired at one point.
Well, listen, at that time, Rad was like, I'm leaving my job and I'm moving on to go do something else. And Sid was like, I'm thinking of leaving my job. And that all happened in that 1 week. And I was like, you said something, James, about switching jobs. And I was like, I don't know, is he retired now? Like, everyone I know is retiring.
I'm retired in my heart.
Yeah, I know you are. But you're also out there in 100-degree weather pouring concrete, so.
Yeah, well, that's just for appearances.
If I could be
I
tired,
assume
I
it's to
would.
put food on the table, which is what a lot of people are trying to do nowadays.
Also, I'm not pouring the concrete. I'm just watching it be poured.
Oh, right. You got to have 3 people to look at the guy holding the sign, and one
I'm
person
the guy
holding the
that
sign.
stands there with the iPad and draws a little circle around which piece of concrete just got poured. And then I put that in a report and I type it up and I send that to everyone. And they go, oh.
Do you have to maintain a safe workplace, though?
I'm not responsible for any OSHA requirements. I take care of myself. I meet all my personal requirements, but I do not have to be Mr. Safety. Otherwise, that's a whole nother job. That's a job that gets paid way more than I get paid. So no, that's good and bad that I'm not responsible for safety.
I have to tell you, the people who do electrical engineering OSHA get paid like $500,000 a year.
Yeah, it's big
Their
business.
job is to be like, I don't know, looks like maybe you got some EMF leak here. I'm going to go ahead and slap you with a multi-million-dollar fine and drive back to my mansion in the woods.
Yeah. I represent the owner via the architect. So that's all I do is quality control, that everything is being done per the specifications that the owner paid for. That's it. That's all I do.
Listen, owners like to have someone on site to make sure that it gets done right, though.
It's an easy
Can't
job.
even begin. Listen, back in the day in China, they'd be like, looks like you got too many wires here on this circuit board. We're just gonna bypass this and we're gonna make the circuit. It'll still work correctly, and then they get shipped, and some guy's like, all right, well, China just fucked us on our proprietary circuit board that completely bypasses the second security lock, so these are all worthless now, and for some reason we can't sue them for everything that they own.
Yeah. This spoon works like a fuse.
Oh my God. Is that a movie quote or something? I've never heard it before, but it's painful to hear. Ugh.
At some point in Chicago, they're like, you know what we should do? Build all these wooden houses really close to each other.
I was gonna say, in Chicago, their plan was to build a city on top of a city sinking into the mud.
Yeah.
Listen, if you don't know about it, not only does Chicago have an entire undercity, but I'm pretty sure there's a nuclear lab underneath Chicago. Is that the one that has it? Where they have an old nuclear test lab underneath the city?
I was just talking about like the 1800 Chicago fire when the whole city basically got on fire and burned down.
Yes, it did. The cow.
Yeah.
All right. We got anything else we need to cover?
So anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah, there was some blasting last episode. I don't know that there were many hits.
Are there any hits? Were
There
there?
were
No, I
attempts.
could have fired a second large laser that I forgot about, but I'm not going to worry about
That's
it
very
because I'll still
sad.
be hitting on 12s.
Pondo play Despacito. Wow, no reaction. All right.
I was trying my best not to say Alexa.
Please, no! Stop! Stop! Why?
I stopped myself.
Why? You
I stopped myself.
and the other two always with this. You
I
can't.
don't- that's
You
the
can't
only
stop
time I've
yourself
done it.
after
No.
saying the key word because it starts listening at that point. If you mess up from that point, you have to say stop so that it knows to stop listening.
Can't you just say never mind?
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Okay.
I
know-
did stop myself before I finished the first part. Like even the name, I stopped myself. That is the only time I've done
No,
that.
you fully said the name. Trust me.
No, I didn't say
If you
it.
listen, if you owned an Amazon virtual assistant, you would know that you said enough of the name to upset my digital overlord. Okay?
Whenever I'm talking to Google, I just tell it never mind if it starts listening and I don't want it to, or tell it to go fuck itself.
I don't think I could do that with this thing. It would be very
When I tell it
mad.
to go fuck itself, it says,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Chat
I'm
is
sorry.
saying their Amazon personal assistant turned on, Pondo. That's why I shouted stop very loudly.
I greatly apologize. I didn't think I said enough.
You're
for
a
it to do it.
monster.
I found out that when you say mean things to Google, it says, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. It does.
What a
That's
good
not a
way of
joke.
disarming
sad.
angry.
It really
No,
does.
that's brilliant. What a great way of disarming angry people. Rather than say something like calm down, which never works.
Right.
It makes you feel bad for it. And what a good empathetic loop right there.
Yeah, so now I've literally gotten to the point where I tell Google please and thank you all the time.
Oh, I do that for my Amazon personal assistant as well.
Because when Skynet goes live, I don't want to be at the top of the list, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Okay?
gonna be on the low end of that list for sure.
Brad, are your kids still at the age that the Wiggles are exciting to them or not?
No, they're a little past the Wiggles.
Okay, no worries. 'Cause, I found it. There's a Wiggles game built into the Google Assistant. So
Oh, really? Man,
Yeah.
I might have to check that out.
yeah,
I don't know if I want to teach them that though, because then they'll fucking be all over it.
There's
That's a dangerous
children's
game.
yoga put into Alexa. We do that at day. Oh, I'm
Oh,
so
really?
sorry.
Stop,
But it's put
Alexa,
into
stop.
the daycare one. I don't know what it's called other than that. Is that the Google Assistant?
no. The Google
Is it the
Assistant is just
Amazon one?
no. Amazon Echo is the other one.
I don't know which one it is.
Echo
The one that starts
has
with an
the
A.
Amazon personal assistant on it, whose
Yeah,
name
that should
you
not be
continually say.
named.
We have that one at daycare, and it goes off by random kids' names. Anyone that starts with an A, it'll react to.
Or an L. Yes, it will.
I just want to play Skyrim on the thing.
Okay, well, instead of playing Skyrim, what if we played Battletech? How about that?
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Wild. Previously on this episode, we landed on a planet. That planet is the asteroid. Ooh, look at that transition. We got that painterly style. J-X8675309. People asked if the cast caught on to the name of the planetoid. The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, I did.
They're trying not to roll their eyes at it because it's not the first time, and certainly it won't be the last time. I've included that particular alphanumeric code in a show. You are engaging 5 members of a Solama unit, Solama Star, all piloting 2C Inner Mech clan remakes. After not a brief conversation, how should I describe it? Brutal, brusque?
Terse.
Terse is a good word. A terse conversation with the clan non-combatants. The boys showed up back in town and tried to roll on you. The Locust 2C was very surprised to be shot at. There was no bachawling. There was just a bunch of posturing. So that's what we got. Ooh, Clan Salami Star. That sounds really good. I got some mortadella. Maybe I'll go have that for the break.
I was for life me trying to not say anything like, what about the relish?
Wow. All right. James pointed out, or someone pointed out, I'm going to say it's James, but someone pointed out we didn't do artillery or order a arrow 4 tag firing, so I'm going to allow you to put that down now before end of round heat calculation and dice removal begins. So everything takes 1 round to arrive.
So we've got a long tom and some arrow 4s, is that right?
Correct, and we've got these markers here. The triple marker represents arrow 4, and these markers represent firing an arrow 4. Sorry, I said arrow 4 both times, didn't I? Long tom is the triple marker, arrow 4 is the single missile.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and launch the arrow 4s.
Okay.
And
Right here on these people.
You don't have to decide on the target until later.
That's where I was going to send the long tom in. Shut up. We only have 1 long tom shot. Is that correct?
Correct.
For the whole mission, or just per round?
Per round.
You get 1 shot per round, and it takes 6 rounds to fire, then 1 round to reload. Sorry, it fires 6 times, then it has to reload for a round. It only takes 1 round to arrive.
Yeah, because the long tom's got a 2 hex splash.
Correct.
Yeah. It's
so
25,
we
15,
can get all those
25,
buildings
15,
together. No,
5. I mean, in terms
Listen,
of...
we're past that. We don't need to joke about horrifying crimes against humanity. It's been a while since the unit's actually done one.
So assuming that the 2 commandos don't cross the bridge, then with their 9 move, they're going to get somewhere either up here, this area, or they're going to go and cut through the woods and they'll be slowed down to be this sort of area here. So if you want
to, do we want to try to catch commandos with it? Because I figured it'll be also a great way to harass the urban mech a little bit.
Well, the urban mech is it's because it's so slow. You've got a better chance of picking where it's going to be.
Yeah.
So the urban mech's maximum move would bring it if it moved in a straight line without actually going through terrain. It's going to put up to here.
Yeah.
But you're only going to get there's only 1 mech you can possibly get with that because the other 2 are so fast. They'll be across here this turn.
So it's better just to use it as a area denial sort of system rather than.
Well, it's an expensive area denial system. It's, I mean, they don't know where it's going to land, so it doesn't really deny. It doesn't force them to change their move.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
That's why.
I mean, I'm going to move to avoid it. I assume they have sensor systems that can pick it up. It's like what? Listen, I base my Mechwarrior experience off of Mech Commander, which means there's going to be a giant transparent floating circle with a timer in the middle of it that tells you how long until the airstrike arrives.
So this is why Battletech hex maps have numbers on the hexes, because when you do artillery, you write it down on a bit of paper and don't show your opponent, and you reveal it when they actually land.
We're playing tabletop stream house rules, which means we do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, that's how.
I mean, that's why we do the quad rolls all at once to speed things up. I've never said that we played authentically because Lord knows I don't. I don't. I try my best.
So we can either try to hit something or we can use it as some sort of area denial, or to maybe
we just need to hold it. I don't think there's any reason to shoot it right now.
Yeah. I mean, if that's probably the case, and say don't use it right yet.
Because in 6 rounds, the situation is going to be entirely different before we get to see it again. So we may want to hold it for 2 or 3 to let things play out a little bit.
All right, let's remove our dice from the table and check for any heat problems.
I don't like any of this because I'm designed to get up close, and every single one of these mechs has 500 SRMs.
Yes, but the other guys have 500 ERPPCs. So
not a good matchup for me.
You kind of have to pick your.
The one mech you do really good against is the one mech that's all the way in the back.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
And even then, he has AC-10 Ultra. So.
All right, we're going to do a quick flyover of the battle map area here so the audience kind of gets to remember what we're doing. Clan, Urban Mech, 2 Commandos, Locust, Jenner, 2.
Can I shoot all my guns to get my heat up?
Yes.
I think we assumed that.
We assumed that you were going to do that. I think James basically outrightly said that that was the thing you were going to do.
Yeah,
Well,
laser
you're
light show.
in Darktopia.
Yep.
All right, so
Right
we're at the
beside
start
the
of the
cliff.
second round.
I feel like
I'd
it's a
love to
game.
see the look on the clan mechs pilot, like the clan pilots' faces when this Centurion with no targets just firing lasers into the air.
I imagine he tries to play a game with it, like try to etch his face onto the side of a cliff.
I
With all the
assume that
lasers.
Darude Sandstorm plays as an accompaniment to his light show.
Yeah.
8 on initiative for what that's worth, which is
I gotta
probably
roll
nothing.
that. I want to say I have a +5. That's
Yeah, you're good.
5. Let me double check my
No.
modifier.
Yes, you're gonna be fine. Your modifier must be higher than me, and your roll was higher than me. So I don't
It
know about
is
McGurk
a
drawing
5,
dicks,
so-
but sometimes Rad draws snails underneath the battle map where
Well,
I
I've never
can't
done
see
that.
it. You drew it right over here.
What?
Yes, there was one time you drew a snail.
No, that
back-
must have been Cotton.
It might have been.
It was.
Was
Look
it?
at her face. Look at her turn red. Yeah, it was her.
No, I don't draw snails under the. I don't even know how to draw under the.
I don't even
recall.
know. I've never drawn a snail before in my life.
There was a huge snail. You claimed credit for it when it happened.
I've never even seen.
I
a
said, "Is
snail.
that a snail there?" And you said, "That's
No.
me. I drew it."
Show me the clip. I don't believe it.
All right, I'm gonna have to ask somebody to go back and rewatch the entire show.
Never happened.
It's probably season 3. All right, let me take a look at what I got here. So normally, I would, we'd do 1, 1, 1, 1 until I had 2 more mechs than you, but that's too much math and it's boring and I never remember it right. So I'm just gonna move 2 mechs up front, and that works better for me. Urban mech.
Does he
I'm
say
happy
that
to
over
move
the
first on
comms?
our end because I won't be moving somewhere that I'm going to be shot at this turn unless they do some particular things. So
Yeah, I think you should just turn around and start running backwards. Like,
I can go as well.
I like to think that the urban mech actually said urban mech over the comms, like a
Urban
Pokemon
mech.
when he started moving.
Irby. Oh, I imagine it's like a Diglett. It's like Irby.
Urban Mech evolves into Urban Mech 2C. What's the other one? Urban Mech RMC 60 or something?
The urban mech evolves into the Flash Man
which evolves into the imp.
No,
because they
it doesn't.
both look like trash
I
cans.
feel like the Urban Mech evolves into a Kintaro, probably.
No way,
No.
definitely the Flash
Yeah,
Man.
it's definitely it's Urban Mech Flashman Imp. That's the evolution.
Yeah.
chain.
I was trying to think of what the big one, the assault.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, it's 4 because he. Okay, I'm done. I've moved both of my
I'll
mechs.
go next if it's all right.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wow, Lost in
Nice.
the Woods, huh?
Perfect.
We should probably write a Moose musical about that.
That's the best song in Frozen 2.
I gotta
It
disagree.
is.
I
It was great.
Best one.
I have to tell you, the first half of the "Made It to the Iceberg" song was really good. Every part before she does the weird witch dance, where I'm like, "What the hell is this dance? Like, what the hell's going on?"
I found almost all of the music in that movie to be incredibly underwhelming, except for that one song.
My wife hated that song.
Same.
Oh,
What
I'll
song?
fight her if we ever meet her.
The 80s love ballad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christoph's song is best song
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was great.
It's sad to think that she hates it.
that anyone could not like it.
Yeah, it's. if
People
I-
didn't like Tamatoa's song, and I thought they were idiots too.
Well, Tamatoa was a drab little crap once, but now he's beautiful, baby.
That's right.
All right, that's me. I'm done moving my locust. Yes, that's right. Critical Role is back, and I didn't watch last week's episode yet. I heard that there's a lot of art about it. People were so fucking excited they spoiled the episode.
I watched it, and it was good,
But
and I'm glad it was good because it proved how wrong they were when they were like, "This could never work," because it absolutely proved that they could all just. So they're all in the studio together,
right, but they're all apart.
they could do the same fucking thing from
Over the
their
internet.
houses,
Correct.
pre-recorded, and put it like they're like, "Oh no, we wouldn't be able to do the same quality." They 100% can do the same quality. Like I don't know. I'm still so annoyed by all of that.
I don't think Urban Mech is the Magikarp at Battletech. A flea might be the Magikarp. I would say the Phoenix Hawk and the Phoenix Hawk 2C are the Magikarp and Gyarados, because Phoenix Hawk 2C is a big dude.
Did that Genesee only get 1 pip of movement?
No, the Locust did. The Gener 2C.
Yeah, the Locust.
Yes, that's correct. 1 pip of movement.
I think from here, the Arctic Cheetah can get all the way behind them.
You want to do it? Come on over.
I don't actually know that that's true. I know it can move a lot. How fast?
I don't think
12?
that's a great idea.
Listen, we sacrifice the Arctic Cheetah to summon Dasher to the field, and then we just have the Dasher teleport wherever it wants to, because that's how Dashers work. They have the instant transmission ability.
I don't know if I like that plan.
Jump up here.
Listen, you have to sacrifice in order to pull apart a special summon. That's how it works.
We could collapse in on this Locust pretty hard if we wanted to.
That's my plan. It's a very weak armored one. Very tasty.
If someone were to stand in this hex right here,
Yeah.
could the Jenner see them? Not up here, down here.
Also, other question, when is the tag arriving?
No. Tag arrives at the end of movement phase.
All right, so Cotton, if you can get here, that would be a great place to be. You could just shoot the Jenner. You'd also be shot, though. It might not be a great place for you to be.
Like, I don't think I have a lot of armor.
No, you don't. I mean,
So I don't know if I want to go there.
Pondo's got the most probably out of the. Well, yeah, he's probably got a
Me
little
and
bit
you are
more than
about
me.
tied.
Yeah, pretty close. I don't even know what guns the Arctic Cheetah
I should
has.
remind you that most of my armor is like 8.
Yeah, you don't want to get shot. You got ER mediums. Yeah, you probably want to stay about 10 hexes away if you can. That actually would be a pretty optimal, because they wouldn't be able to shoot you with most of what they have if you stay at a 10 hex range.
Do they have streaks? Streaks are, yeah, have 12 hex limit.
Yeah, but that's it though. They don't have a lot of streaks, do they?
I think they have a couple.
What is that? That's the
Jenner 2C definitely does. I don't know
we're
about
looking at the
Locust.
Locust.
It's just a Gener 2C. The Locust has only got small lasers, small lasers, and a medium pulse laser.
Yeah, all he's got is one medium pulse that could get you.
Yeah. So inside of 6 hexes, he can turn out quite a bit of damage with those small lasers, but outside of 6 hexes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's only got the medium pulse.
it's not the worst in the world.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we're going to dogpile on this Locust because he made some
Who's
mistakes.
moving?
Did you move yet? Because
Yeah.
I
Pondo
haven't
just moved.
I've moved
since Pondo moved.
twice. 3 times. Twice.
So there's
How many
we've got
mechs have
one
you
person
moved?
to move?
Okay, so I went, you went, I went, you went. Okay, so it is my turn. Oh, Pondo jumped. That's what it was. Okay.
Yes, I'm playing peekaboo with your team here.
You play peekaboo with whoever you want to.
I am the tank. Rad is the barbarian.
5.
That has one goal of mine, is to
6,
mosh pit with a bunch of mechs at once. Durus is the ranger.
Okay.
Even in the woods.
That works for me. So that's what, a plus 4?
No, not for 7. I don't think.
It's
Plus
3.
3, I think.
Oh,
You
the
don't-
4
you
was
don't
from
get-
if it was a jump. That was a jump earlier.
No, actually, I think you need 8 to get 3, don't you?
3 is 7 to 9.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. I don't run very often nowadays. I just jump.
Wow, chat wants to see Bandito die to a headshot in the final episode.
Okay, I will move by
mean-
jumping
Listen,
here.
I've told you the final scene is going to be Bandito doing paperwork. Rapier walks up behind him and says, "It's nothing personal, kid," and shoots him in the back of the head. That is the final scene of the show. Absolutely.
Unequivocally.
Bold move to think that would happen to Bandito.
Bandito's too paranoid to allow it to happen. What is with 2 dice? Are you so special you have 2 forms of movement now?
What? I don't know what that red dice is. That's not mine.
I wouldn't put it past you to have 2 forms of movement. 1, 2.
My luck with not getting headshotted by the clans is not great. Anything above 10 damage with clan tech is a death sentence for me.
I believe it's Cotton's turn to move.
Okie doke. I can't actually pick up my Arctic cheetah.
I can pick him up.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make a big circle and go back here.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh,
5,
you don't have the model.
Turn.
6, 7, 8, 9,
Has that always been a square for you?
Oh, I didn't know where he was faced.
10.
Can you stop right here? Like,
Oh.
turn there.
Turn there.
Do we need to reload the table so that your model loads?
I might reload it.
How much? I
I'll
don't
use the dark powers.
Okay.
Yeah, she has no models right now.
There. When I counted, I ended up. When I counted, I ended up there, but I thought he was facing a different direction.
Okay, well now it's evaporated, so I don't know.
My
what
point
happened.
is to move as many squares
there
as I
it is.
can, and then wind up there again.
So weird. The dervish still does not have a name tag.
Okay, so you moved 1, 2, 3,
Oh, I still don't
4,
have models.
5, 6, 7.
7.
Still don't have the model?
Did I move all 12 of my movement?
1, 2. Wait, you had to turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You actually didn't have enough to step back up here.
Okay. So he's facing this way, so let me think. 1.
He's facing, yeah, so you'd want to face that way?
What? No, I'm trying to figure out how he's moving now, because I thought he was facing this way when I
Because you
first
were
got
right here, right? Oh, hey, a new one.
Oh, now I have 2.
But can you see it though? Has it loaded for
No,
you?
it's squares.
Okay. Is everything here only squares or just your mech?
Everything.
All right. That's-
Except for the enemy's mech. I can see them.
So, what
so you
could do,
can't
let's
see the
Any of
friendly
our
mechs,
mechs.
but you.
Yes.
Oh, I do. That seems unpleasant.
6, 7, 8,
Maybe she needs reload. I'm
9,
not sure.
10, 11. Still can't make it up there.
You would have to turn at this one.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oops.
Wait. 8,
Another
7,
7.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
How many squares did you move?
That puts you
can't-
right back where you were.
Well, how many squares did you? I'm just trying to get the.
No, I
movement
hear you.
bonus.
You moved 1, 2,
5
3,
hexes, so
4,
plus
5
10.
hexes.
Okay.
This would be 2 pips.
I guess I'll just do that. I don't know. It's harder for me to count when I can't move it.
Yeah, it's tough.
I guess maybe try restarting your tables out.
Yeah, I'll just leave it there for now. That works.
Well,
it's
we're
close enough.
pretty close to a break. Maybe we take a break early and
Okay.
let you experiment, explore the space.
I'll just T-pose in this little mountain.
Me not being faced where I was completely ruined my original plan.
Then the last thing we'll do is we'll check to see if the Aero 4s arrive. You need a 4 or higher. They do. So anyone that has tag shoots now to determine Aero 4 striking power.
Okay.
Okay, I'll shoot now.
Okay, so you are going to be the firer.
Can we tag it? Can multiple people attempt to tag?
Yes, but you don't have multiple missiles.
But I mean, like, if he misses, I could attempt.
No, it will. I think it just veers off and goes nowhere. James?
I'm not sure on the tag side.
I believe if you miss a tag attack, the direct fire weapon, the damage is rolled, and a unsuccessful roll Deals only area of effect damage to all units in the hex. Okay. If no target is tagged by the time the missile arrives, it explodes mid-air. Okay, so you can technically attempt to tag until it hits.
Okay, so we could both try.
Yes, unless James finds a renuncifying scripture from our Dark Lords Catalyst Game Labs. I will say that you can attempt to fire multiple times.
So I have a 6 hit, I believe. 3 base, 1 jump, medium range. So it's so 4. Medium range will make it 5, and then his +1 will make it 6. So go ahead and go. Exactly 6. Head.
You serious?
That's with a tag laser.
Wow.
My God.
Does a 6 hit?
6
Yes.
does hit.
With a +4 to hit? Plus range? Yeah, because he's got a 1 and you have a plus. Oh,
I have
you have jumping
jack.
Yep. Okay, well, this tiny little locust is moving forward. This pilot is so happy to be engaged in glorious combat. He's waited his entire 50 years of life to reach
Shoot
this
his laser
moment.
point in his face.
There's like a red dot appearing around his cockpit, just like a cat. He's looking around. He's like, "What is that? What is that? Wait a second. I think I heard about these from Clan Wolf." And then there's like this loud roaring noise, and he's like, "What's that noise? Where's that coming from?" And then his life ends in a brilliant flash as directly above his cockpit, a massive missile fires down and immolates him, his cockpit, and probably most of his center torso in the process.
You probably thought Innisphere lasers were so weak they couldn't penetrate his armor.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Pathetic. The Jinner just watches in horror.
He actually gets hit with something because he's right next to it.
Is fucking converted into a crater instantaneously in front of him.
The Jinner also gets hit with it as well.
Yes.
Only,
Jesus.
I think 10. So he watches his friend just implodes as he gets like some of the scorch off of it.
So damage is 10 damage to the Jenner, which will be on the front side.
All right, well that
Center
ruined
torso.
my entire plan of shooting this round.
Nope. Most but not all of the armor is stripped off of the Jenner's center torso.
I'm gonna dump all my fire into the Jinner instead, I guess.
Can you see him?
Yeah.
I lost
I guess
the
you can, yeah.
boxes. Now I don't even have the box.
Jesus, Cotton. Come on.
But the enemies are still there, perfectly fine.
I wonder it's because we have them colored and the enemies are not colored.
Interesting. I don't know.
Oh, they loaded in.
They appeared.
Everything's there?
Can you move your piece?
Hooray.
I can.
That's science.
Oh, whoops.
Well, I have good and bad news. The good news is that Cotton has finally joined us. The bad news is that it's still break time. You ready for
That's not
this?
bad news.
You ready? Swish, swish.
Bum, 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 bum,
Look at that
bum,
new
bum,
intermission
bum, bum,
screen.
bum.
Incredible. Look at that
I
Dark
haven't seen it.
Sciences.
I have to wait for it to catch
We'll
up.
be back in about 8 minutes, maybe a little bit longer for the second half. I like this. It's very sinuous and it's like a river of paint. I like it.
I like it.
All right, we'll be back.